What's up, good people? I hope you're doing extremely well. It's Free Spray back here with another video. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the truth. The truth about how to make more money as a creative person. And I know this is something that is kind of touchy-feely or maybe a little bit difficult for some people who have been creatively working in whatever field for a long period of time and are not really making the kind of money that they think they should be making. So today I want to talk about that and kind of what my experience has been. Before I start talking about this, I want to preface this video by saying I have a BFA in visual communications, and I have worked in the creative fields such as video and audio production. I've been a music producer. I've been, a graphic designer professionally for over 20 years. And this stuff or those things have nothing, zero, zilch to do with how much money I have been able to make over the years doing those specific things. So let's just get that out of the way. I think you can, attach whatever, credentials to your name, whatever accolades, and really go down the path of really learning how to do all the things that you want to do creatively. But there is a very different mindset that you have to actually be able to turn those things into things that are profitable for you. Now, you can work a job for someone else, and you can start out and work a career and really be successful at a successful career as anything creative, because there are jobs and careers out there that do allow you to be creative and make whatever money is available or decided upon by that specific job. And what I mean by that is you are never going to be able to determine your worth working for someone else creatively. You have to decide that you are going to take on that responsibility and give yourself worth, and then turn that into the profit or the money that you want to make. That's the first thing. You have to understand that, and it's not easy to do, or it can be difficult to do. And the reason it can be difficult is just the way we think creatively. Like, creativity itself is a very emotionally driven thing, or can be a very emotionally driven thing. You can spend years learning how to be creative, or learning how to be talented or skilled around your creativity, and it can all be driven by your emotions, all be driven by how you express what you're feeling. And there's nothing wrong with that, because some of the greatest creative works evolve out of how someone is feeling or how people feel, and they are able to express that in a creative format. Now, what creative format you are expressing in really is kind of determined by what you take to, or what you are interested in, and what you kind of pick up at an early age, or whenever. Let's just say, if you pick up something creatively, like, singing or drawing, you could be really good at that. You could be really good at that, at an early age. But the nurturing of it is really what's going to turn it into a skill, or a talent. Because I think of creativity like this: everyone has creative juices or has a creative spark, and depending on how you nurture that creativity is what is going to turn that into a skill. So a skill is simply taking your creative talents or your creative interests and repeating those in processes that allow you to present them in a professional or commercial light. That's all it is. So, the more you do that, the more you, gear your mind towards or around a process that will allow you to take your creativity and present it in a professional or, a commercial light, then you are acquiring skills that way. And you can build upon those skills and, really be able to, nurture those skills over time, which is what people do. And then you take those skills. Now, this is the part where a lot of creative people falter, myself included. I'll tell you a story about my journey. Basically, I was creative all my life, or I was, creatively inclined all of my life. I started out very early, creatively expressing myself. That was my vessel to expressing myself. It was visual. And, like I said, most people have creative energies and they are channeled in whatever ways they kind of learn. You kind of learn how to express yourself at an early age. That can be anywhere from, drawing to singing to sports, even to finance. You can have creative energies that work in those particular realms. So, for me, it was drawing. I was drawing, I was painting, I was really immersed in visual art at a very young age, and I was very content with being able to express myself that way. Luckily, I was also pushed in the direction of music around the same time. So I had those two creative forces that were working together at the same time, or being built at the same time creatively. Now, long story short, I went on to college, for those things. I went on to starting and building a career in those things. But it wasn't until I learned what I'm about to tell you right now that I was able to really profit and flourish in those things and start to make money that I thought I was worth in those things. And basically what happened, what shifted in me was my mindset changed from creating all the time in the things that I knew were my strengths to learning how to create or use that creative energy in other things, such as finance, such as business, such as entrepreneurship. I learned how to basically stop creating the art that I was creating and start using that energy, that creative energy, to learn how to do those other things. And that's really what it comes down to for a lot of creatives. We are so immersed in our creative processes that it's hard for us to stop doing that, or stop, and get out of just doing what we're used to. We're used to being creative. We're used to, drawing that picture, or painting that painting, or singing that song, and, getting the feeling and the accolades from that. And that's it. That is the cycle that we're used to being in, and we're content with that. So when it comes to, someone telling us, okay, now, how do you make money at that? How do you translate that into, sustaining yourself, or being able to make a livelihood at that, or just make a career out of it? Even sometimes it's a challenge because we're not turning off that other process of creativity. And I know it seems kind of counterproductive for a creative person to be able to do that. What do you mean, turning off my process of creativity? Well, what I mean is you're basically shifting gears of what your medium is. And I know if you're a creative person that's visual, you understand what medium is. Even in other disciplines, medium is just the mode or the vessel for your creativity. It's just the thing you're using. Like if you're using, a paintbrush, if you're using a microphone, if you're using a pen or a calculator, whatever it is, your medium of creativity, you have to stop just using that medium and say, well, let me learn how to use another medium. I think about, the Renaissance era, like Michelangelo and artists like that who, yes, they were painters, but they were also sculptors. They were also inventors and mathematicians. You have to be able to get your mind around other things that are going to benefit you from a financial standpoint, if that's what your goal is. If you're trying to make money at your art and do something creative or sustain yourself creatively, you gotta stop creating. You gotta stop doing the same thing you're always doing, which is getting in the cycle of the creative process that you're used to. You gotta step away from that. If you are a singer and you used to go into the, I'm going to go to the studio and work on some songs. Yeah, you know how to do that. But after you create that song, what are you doing with it? What are you doing after you create that painting? What are you doing after you, think about something in a sports arena? What are you doing after you get out of the gym, or working on yourself physically for that next sport? What are you doing to advance what you're doing from a financial standpoint? You have to really start thinking about that, and start thinking about it early, because the earlier you start thinking about that, you start to develop that skill as well. And it's also a skill. Just like you develop the skills around the talents and the things that you appreciate when it comes to creativity and art, you have to also develop that skill around making money with those things, because it's a skill. It's something that you can learn. And that is really the beauty of it. It's not like a lot of times creative people think that, creativity is something that's innate, that they're born with. I don't necessarily think that, but I understand the methodology of the thought process, because talent is something that is nurtured from a very young age, and it all revolves around your interests. So just as we discussed, if you're interested in drawing and that is your emotional outlet, yes, you're going to become good at that, because you are getting something from that emotional outlet. Every time you do it, you're getting something, and it's feeding into something emotionally that you want to keep doing repetitively. So you become better at that, and it seems like it's something that is innate in you because you have a strong interest in it. So just like that, if you do something on something else, such as, in finance, or, building yourself from a financial standpoint, if you do it repetitiously, you're going to get good at it. So I would advise, if you want to make more money as a creative person, the first thing you have to do is stop just doing the discipline that you're doing, which is what I had to do. I had to stop creating and getting just that feed or that feeling from the things that I was creating in the mediums that I was used to. I had to stop doing that and start to invest more time and more effort and more thought into things that I may not want to or like to do, in other realms that are going to help me financially. Immerse yourself in business, and you'll find, as a creative person, this is the funny thing. People who are strong in a creative discipline, you'll find that translates, that strength and that passion and that ability to focus translates to everything. You can do anything. If you have strong focus in one thing, you can translate that to other things. You just have to do it. You have to take that first initial leap of faith and say, you know what? Today, instead of writing a song, I'm going to read this book about finance. And I'm going to start trading today. I'm going to start trading Forex today. Or you know what? Today, I'm going to start my own business, and I'm going to, try to grow this business from the ground up. You'll be surprised that if you start immersing yourself in those other things and giving them just as much time and passion and drive that you do the things that you do innately, that you've been learning and doing from birth, you will grow in those things as well. I hope this was helpful to someone, and we'll see you in the next one.